Hello, good morning, all of you. I'm Professor D.V. Thore, working at the Department of English, Sri Chhatrapati Shivaji College, Umarga. Dear students, the course which is going on by online mode, entitled The Concepts of Grammar in English. Actually, we are dealing with the basic concepts of language. Every language has a basic structure, and with the structure we move forward. Forward in a sense, until and unless we do not follow the foundation of each and every language, we cannot understand the actual usage of it. So today, in this particular lecture, I'm going to deal with 2 parts of speech out of 8, which are adjectives and adverbs. First of all, let me deal with the adjectives. Adjectives describe or modify, that is, they limit or restrict the meaning of noun and pronouns. They may name qualities of all kinds. For example, if we use the words a huge statue, a red rose, an angry boy, etc. An adjective usually comes right before a noun. For example, as I said, a red rose. 20 people. When an adjective follows a linking verb such as be or seem, it is called a predicate adjective. For example, that building is huge. The workers seem happy. Here the words huge and happy. Usually, most adjectives can be used as predicate adjectives, although some are always used before a noun. Similarly, a few adjectives can only be used as predicate adjectives and are never used before a noun. Some adjectives describe qualities that can exist in different amounts of degrees. To do this, the adjective will either change in the form, usually by adding er or est, or will be used with words like more, most, very, slightly, etc. For example, if we use the older boys, the longest year, a very strong feeling, more expensive than that one. Other adjectives describe qualities that do not vary. For example, if you say nuclear energy, a medical doctor, and do not change the form. The 4 demonstrative adjectives, this, that, these, and those, are identical to the demonstrative pronouns. They are used to distinguish the person or thing being described from others of the same category of class. This and these describe people or things that are nearby or in the present. That and those are used to describe people or things that are not here, not nearby, or in the past or future. These adjectives, like the definite and indefinite articles, as you have already studied that particular chapter, a, an, and the, always come before any other adjectives than modify a noun. An indefinite adjective describes a whole group or class of people or things, or a person or thing that is not identified or familiar. The most common indefinite adjectives are, for example, we can mention here some of them: all, another, any, both, each, either, enough, every, few, half, least, less, little, many, more, much, neither, one. We can continue it: one, two, or three, and other, several, some, such, whole. Now, these words can be easily identified as they are working in a sentence in the form of adjectives. The interrogative adjectives, primarily which, what, and whose, are used to begin the questions. They can also be used as interrogative pronouns. For example, what songs did they sing? That can be equal to what did they sing. We can easily get the meaning of that. Whose purse is this? It definitely reflects the meaning, whose is this. The possessive adjectives, my, your, his, her, its, our, their, tell you who has wounds, the possessiveness, or has experienced something, as in, as I admire her candor. Our cat is 2 years old, and they said the trip was wonderful. With these examples, we can get the words used or the adjectives used in the sentences are reflecting which, what, and whose. If we ask a question to the noun, we can easily get in an answer the adjective in a sentence. Further, the possessive adjectives are, of course, can be enlisted in the form of pronouns if you get a detailed list of the pronouns itself. Nouns often function like adjectives. This is a very common thing when we think of many of the nouns. Those are oftenly functioning like the adjectives. When they do, they are called attributive nouns. While they are playing the role of adjectives, a noun is playing a role of an adjective that can be called an attributive nouns. When two or more adjectives are used before a noun, they should be put in proper order. An article, a, an, and the, which are the demonstrative adjectives, that, these, etc. Indefinite adjectives, another, both, etc. that I enlisted previously, or possessive adjectives, her, or, etc. always comes first. If there is a number, it comes first or second. True adjectives always come before attributive nouns. The ordering of true adjectives will vary, but the following order is the most common, that can be identified as an opinion, a word, a size, an age, a shape, a color, nationality, or material, etc. The participles are often used like ordinary adjectives. They may come before a noun or after a linking verb. A present participle, for example, we can say an ing word or any verb with ing form, describes the person or thing that causes something. That can be given an easy example. A boring conversation is one that bores you. A fluent speaker who is creating a healthy atmosphere in the auditorium. So these are the words. A past participle, usually an ed word, that d or ed word describes the person or thing who has been affected by something. Affected in a sense, for example, we can say a bored, as I used the word in a previous sentence. Person is one who has been affected by boredom. For example, we can have some another examples. They had just watched an exciting soccer game. The another example can be given. The instructions were confusing. Here the word exciting, confusing can be the attributive adjectives. The adjective is used to modify a noun. In other words, we use adjectives to add something to the meaning of a noun. Now, some linguists are worried about that using that word modification of noun. According to them, it does not modify. But in a simple language, to get the particular meaning of that, not the modification by the true sense or to change totally, but definitely it gives more information about it. We can mention it. For example, we know the meaning of a boy. However, boy plus intelligent means something different from boy plus stupid. Similarly, boy plus handsome means something different from boy plus ugly. The word boy meaning the same thing in each sentence, but the adjective intelligent, stupid, handsome and ugly make the meaning of the boy very different. So it is just a matter of changing or adding some more information to the noun. It means we can say an extension of the meaning of the word. Adjectives answer the question what kind, which one or ones, how many or how much. We can have the example that I previously mentioned properly. Here we note one thing, that adjectives do not always come before the word that they modify. It is not necessarily that adjective may come always before the word that they are going to modify in a sentence. Sometimes they follow it. Follow it in a sense, for example, in the sentence, if we can get it. The cup is full. Here the word full is an adjective as it modifies a cup. So we can easily get the meaning from this sentence. Now there are some types of adjectives that can easily clarify us that what is their role and their importance in English language. The types of adjectives which are, we can make a list of them. Proper adjectives, descriptive, qualitative or attributive adjectives. These are the similar words are descriptive, qualitative or attributive adjectives. The another one is quantitative adjective which reflects the quantity. The fourth one is the numeral adjectives. Fifth one is demonstrative adjective. The another one is distributive adjective. Seventh one is the interrogative adjective, which I gave an example what, which, where, who, etc. in the previous comment. And the last one is the possessive adjective. A proper adjective is one derived from a proper noun. For example, if we used to say the English language, the Indian Ocean, the Victorian attitude, the Elizabethan stage, etc. A descriptive, qualitative or attributive adjective is one that shows the kind or quality of a person or thing. Now, the quality of a person or thing. If I'm saying a brave person, the word brave reflects the meaning that it is just describing the person about his nature. If he gave an example, a beautiful child, it reflects the a little more example about the child who is beautiful. The another example can be given, a careful mother. That shows the attribution about that how the mother is. Definitely mother always be careful about their children, but as a linguistic example here, a careful mother is uh, described here. Some attributive adjectives are derived from nouns. For example, we can say an engineering college, a flower garden, etc. A quantitative adjective is one that shows how much. For example, the quantity of a thing is meat. Here we can have an example. You can eat any apple. That any one is which is served to you. That is showing the quantity of a noun. Another example can be given, he ate much bread. You drink a little milk. Here the words much, little, etc. are showing the quantity of the noun, quantity of an adjective. We can easily get it. A quantitative adjective is always followed by a singular material or abstract noun. This is very important to remember. We need to think of a singular material or abstract noun. Definitely the quantitative adjective can be followed by that. A numeral adjective is one that shows the number of a serial order of person or thing. They are further divided into two main classes. That is definite numerals. That definite numerals show some exact numbers. We can say that they are of three kinds. If we differentiate these definite numerals into three, the first one, the cardinals, as we count 1, 2, 3, 4 are called the cardinals. Ordinals in a sense, we count it as first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th, etc. The another one is multiplicatives. Multiplicatives in a sense, if we are saying single, double, triple, etc., that we can easily or we are multiplying them, so that we can say as the numeral of adjectives. Now indefinite numerals do not show an exact number. For example, all, some, enough, none, many, few, etc. The words in English language which are very few can be easily identified as the indefinite numerals. A demonstrative adjective is one that points out which person or thing is meant. For example, that I previously mentioned it, this boy, that person, those men, etc. I would not go in detail in that also again. The distributive adjective is one that refers to each one of number. There are 4 in number, each, every, either, neither. These are demonstrative pronouns also, that this, that, those, these, like. The same here also, each, every, neither, either. The another one, an interrogative adjective, is used to ask a question. That is very simple, that I previously mentioned. For example, whose pen is this? We can get it in answer to that. What book is that? For example, another one, which flower do you like best? We can get the noun in a meaning, so that the words used at the very at the subject line are called the interrogative adjectives. Another one, the possessive adjectives. The words possessiveness showing that privileged possessive. The words like, or we can have the list of pronouns out of them. The words my, our, your, his, her, etc. When used before a noun, especially when they are used before a noun, are called possessive adjectives. So this is what you call a little information about the adjectives. Actually, that is not possible to bind it everything in this particular structure in a very short period of time, but as the course is moving on very smoothly, we the teachers are trying to get the basic concepts, not in advanced conceptual point of view, to tell you everything about what the advanced English grammar is. Afterwards, that I already talked with the coordinator or the team of this course. They are thinking to organize again more the another courses also regarding the advanced basic English grammar, and definitely we can have the benefit in future also. Now, in short, I would like to mention what is actually the role of adverbs, that I talked about adjectives a little before. In simple words, an adverb is a word that describes verbs. Here we need to point out that adverbs are the describers of verbs. Adverbs are also used to, or we can say it to add or modify, again the same point of view of modification, the meaning of an adjective, a verb, a preposition, a sentence, or a clause. Now these are the different parts of grammar, and we can easily get it what adjective, adverb, a preposition. I think someone in the previous lecture or in future will deal with that preposition also, a sentence or a clause. When we go through the structural point of view of any sentence, that subject, verb and object, we can have these points which are mentioned there. So we can add more information to the doing words using different kinds of adverbs. Hence, adverbs are parts of speech and express the manner, time, place, frequency, degree, and much more about the verbs. Now, verbs and its kinds, I think that the topic is already taught by another professor, or it may be followed in the another lectures, but you can get it easily what the verbs and its kinds means. Now the verbs, they also act as a verb phrase which includes a verb and its dependents, but the words which are dependent on the verb. For example, if I mention a sentence, a car is moving, the sentence doesn't give any information other than that there is a car which is moving one. But if we add an adverb here and rewrite the sentence or reproduce the sentence, a car is moving slowly, it shows that there is a car which is moving slowly, because maybe it is getting whatever the reason, the driver is moving is slowly or something else. Similarly, this sentence, if I use you may sit, means that you can have a seat wherever you want to sit. It doesn't give us any information about the place for you to sit. Whereas the sentence, you may sit there, means there is a particular place to sit where you can find a seat. In this way, adverbs modify a sentence and make it more informative. So we can say that adverbs describe a sentence or clause. This is the very important part of English language, especially in basic English grammar. If you have a little glance about the different types of adverbs, of course with examples, we can say those can be categorized, or the adverbs can be categorized into three simple kinds, that is simple adverbs, interrogative adverbs, and relative adverbs. Now this is not in a particular but in general sense. Let's look at the types of adverbs in detail. In a very short period of time I will conclude them. Simple adverbs. Simple adverbs contain only one word, and they are the most used adverbs. Simple adverbs are further divided into many parts. Especially we can enlist them, which are of 6 types of adverbs under simple adverbs. The first one is adverb of time. Whenever you want to add an information of when, when into double inverted comma in a quotation mark to a verb, the adverb of time will be your answer. So we can say that an adverb of time shows the time or moment of doing a task. For example, if I say I will go there tomorrow. So if you ask me when you go, I will answer it by saying tomorrow. So here tomorrow is the adverb of time that provides an information regarding the time of happening of an event. The second one is adverb of place. Whenever you want to add an information of where, showing or directly showing the place where to a verb, the adverb of place will be your answer. So you can say that an adverb of the place shows the place where the task is being done or has been done. For example, we can easily say that you may sit there, as I previously said, I am going to Mumbai. So that easily as I used the continuous tense, present continuous tense, the word Mumbai, that is reflecting the meaning adverb of place. The another one, adverbs of frequency. Whenever you want to add an information regarding how often to a verb, the adverb of frequency will be your answer. So we can say that an adverb of frequency shows the frequency with which the task has to be done. For example, if I use the word I go for a walk daily. So if you ask how often do I go for a walk, the answer will be daily. You can easily get it. Now there is no need to underline these words, because you can definitely understand if you can get the meaning or the definition of adverbs. You can understand that the word is a little modifying the noun or the verb in a sentence. Adverbs of manners. Whenever you want to add information regarding how or in what way, the adverb of manners will be used. So we can say that an adverb of manner shows the form with which the task has to be done. For example, we can easily give many of the examples here. If I say I speak beautifully, you can get it that in which particular manner you are going to speak or you are speaking actually. I speak beautifully, that reflects. Now I speak beautifully is a wrong usage. I speak beautifully is the proper usage of in this particular context of adverb of manner. So if you ask how do I speak, I will answer it by saying beautifully. So here beautifully is the adverb of manner that shows how or in what way an event takes place. The fifth one, adverbs of degree. Whenever you want to answer something starting from how much, here shows the degree or to what degree or extent. The adverb of degree will be your answer. Now the degree which is used in the basic concepts of grammar, degree is the another part, the superlative, comparative and positive, that is the different matter, but here in the another sense. So we can say that an adverb of degree shows the degree or extent to which the task has been done. For example, we can say he is extremely talented, if I used the word extremely and talented. So if you question me how often, how much talented is he, that easily can be answered that it by we can answer it saying extremely. So here extremely is the adverb of degree that shows with what degree an event takes place. Adverb of reason. If you want to ask or answer something starting from why, the adverb of reason will be your answer. You can say that an adverb of the reason shows the reason behind doing a particular task. For example, if I give a sentence here, I go there because I love that place. So if you question me why do I go there, I will answer it by saying because I love the place. So here because is the adverb of the reason that shows why an event happens. It is because of that word we can get the actual meaning of why the event is being happened. The another one is interrogative adverbs. Whenever or if it is asked a question and the question word is used as an adverb, you are using interrogation or interrogative adverbs. They possess a unique feature, and that is they are placed at the beginning of a sentence. For instance, why do you talk to him? Here, why in a underlined form, why is a question word used as an adverb. So why is an interrogation or interrogative adverb. Another one can be explained here as the relative adverbs. Whenever an adverb is used to relate or connect or join any two sentences, we use relative adverbs. These adverbs are just three. We can easily mention them in English language: where, when, and why. For instance, I met him when no one was around. So we need to underline the word when here to get that it is a relative adverb. Here when is the adverb which connects the two sentences that I have met him and no one was around. These two different sentences are there. So here when is the relative adverb. So as I mentioned, the 8 types of adverbs which are mentioned here, which can be used anywhere to make the text more informative, and we can get the actual meaning of English language or any of the sentences which are being used in the form of language. So that was just a short description about the adjectives and adverbs. If we study it well, because some of the words there are which I have already mentioned in the video, which are to be done by heart, or we can put those words in the form of notes and you can stuck it, you can paste it on the walls and you can make it by heart, because language of course have different types of varieties: the written language, the spoken language, the non-verbal language also. So during this course, the things in the form of various types of units from the basic English grammar that the very excellent intelligent professors are teaching you definitely will be helpful for you. Create your deep interest in the videos which are being uploaded in the Google Classroom. Definitely I assure you that you will be benefited with these videos, and you can also, I think, I don't know whether those videos can be downloaded and can be saved for your further practice in future, but do attempt it being saved, keeping saved in the pen drives at CDs or at your personal PCs or mobiles also. I here request that you have to follow the instructions given by your teachers. Generally you must have to participate in the quizzes, that is in the form of home assignment, and in the WhatsApp group also that we are making it, we are keeping it open for discussion. So you have to ask your queries there. So and asking queries, it means you understood some of the parts and you have some confusions about it, so we can add something more information about it in the form of WhatsApp messages or as a summarizing point of view at the end of the course. So with this, I thank you all for listening me very carefully, that it is a one-way process of uploading the videos and you are getting me. There is no reverse communication, so that's okay in the online mode of education. we are getting more information through the videos also. So I'm very much thankful to the team of the organizer. I'm thankful to my honorable principal for giving me opportunity to be a part of this particular course as a resource person. I'm very much thankful to uh, Professor Dr. Y.A. Doke sir, my research guide, who has given me this opportunity communicating with Professor Todkari sir and his college. Thank you very much, one and all. Here I end the video, and in future, in the another form, I may come in front of you. So thank you and best luck for your future education. Thank you very much.